welcome to my channel. Okay, so I'm going to discuss the part 1 of Lori's mom Janice and her sister Summer, that interview that we were talking about on the live a little bit. Maybe I kind of prematurely tried to discuss that when we did the live a couple days ago. It was when there was only like that little clip out, so I just wanted to discuss some of the stuff that was said in it, and there was only a few things, so I think people were expecting way more, so I'm so sorry about that. But now the first part is released, which is 14 minutes, and then they're going to release it in parts for some reason. So I just kind of wanted to discuss that first part. I put it up on my community page if you guys haven't seen it yet. It's pretty interesting, some of the stuff, I would say. So I'm just going to kind of give a summary on some of the stuff that was said and give some of my thoughts on it. So Lori's sister Summer says that it's unfair that Lori has been treated the way she has been treated. Which I don't think it's unfair at all, because all they were asking was to show the kids and just show that they're all right. They weren't even asking to take them, which I know some would argue, well, once she showed them and that they were going to take them, I guess, I don't know if Kate, I guess she went to court and legally got custody of them, right? Well, if that's what they found that was appropriate for JJ, then the law. But I feel like maybe she still could have had a chance. She could have went to court, maybe fought it and showed why she should have them, and maybe they would have ended up giving her custody. But the fact that she didn't even try, she just basically hid them, and hopefully they're just hid and they're still with us. I mean, we don't even know. Everybody's thinking the worst. So if she would just show us that we shouldn't be thinking that, just show us that the kids are safe, then we wouldn't be thinking this stuff. So, and then all this other stuff's coming out that's just not looking good for her. I don't want to be unfair, and I'm sure a lot of us don't want to be unfair to her, but it's just, we're looking at the situation, and it just doesn't look good for her. So Lori's sister Summer says that hopefully by them speaking out that people will start to soften their hearts a little bit towards her. And she said maybe it'll help them to see that she's really a loving, sweet, warm person, and she's more beautiful on the inside as she is on the outside. So this is what Summer's saying. So she's just hoping that them speaking out, people will start to see a different side of Lori. So Janice, Lori's mom, says that Janice, loves JJ and Tylee with all of her heart. And I felt some sincerity. I felt she was being sincere when Janice was talking about how much she loved her, how much Janice loved JJ and Tylee. She seemed sincere to me at that part where she was just saying, I love them with all my heart. It seemed real. And then she goes on to say that Lori has always protected her children. If we only knew how far she has gone to protect them. What does that mean? I mean, it's just, okay, then tell us how far she has gone to protect them. I'm not sure what she was referring to, but basically she is saying that Lori has protected them, and she's gone to great lengths to protect her children. And Janice says that she doesn't know where the kids are, but she felt that she was keeping the kids safe. That's the impression that Lori gave Janice, that she's keeping the kids safe, but she never did tell them where the kids were. So Lori told her mom that she's not going to be able to tell her everything, but she did have some major fears that were real to her. But I mean, wonder what fears? This makes me curious. Well, what fears will Lori have to hide her kids? Like, fear that somebody's going to hurt her kids? Janice said she didn't share them all with her. So that means she did share some of them with her mom. So I wish her mom would kind of tell us at least a few of them. Because she's saying that, yeah, Lori did have some fears that were basically real for Lori. I mean, they were really her fears. But she didn't share them all with her mom, but that means she probably shared some of them. So I wish she would kind of tell us which ones she did share. Like, what are some of the fears then? Maybe it'll help us understand. If you give us a little bit like of the details of the specifics, what was she afraid of? What did she tell you what she was afraid of? Because then maybe it'll help us understand a little bit better. Janice said that it felt like in Lori's mind she was protecting them. Janice, Lori's mom, did talk to a friend of Lori's in Hawaii who was going to see her at church. So Janice told her friend to tell Lori that her mom said that she thinks she should put the kids in a room with today's date on it and take a picture and send it to the police. That was Janice's advice to Lori as a mother. That would solve a lot of the problems. And I agree. That's what a lot of people have said. That would solve a lot of problems. We would all know that they're okay, and I'm sure the police would even back off a little bit. I think eventually they would want to see him, and if Kay has custody, that she would have to give JJ back, or maybe that Lori could go to court and they could figure it out, but I'm sure eventually they would she'd probably have to produce them in the bigger picture, but at least this would solve some problems right now for all of us thinking the kids aren't safe. It would give everybody a little bit of peace of mind. So, I mean, why couldn't she do that? There'd be no way to tell where they were. You could hide all of the clues. So the interviewer asked Janice, well, why won't she do it? And Janice says, I don't know. She says, that's what I would do. Yeah, that's what most of us would do if the kids were safe and for some reason we really didn't want anybody to know where they were because we were protecting them, then that'd be a perfect thing to do. So the interviewer asked Summer if she thinks she's guilty of the things she's accused of, and Summer says, no, not even a little bit. So I don't know what that means, whatever that means, not even a little bit. Either you're guilty or not, there's no little bit, but. So Summer says she knows for a fact that she did not conspire to kill Charles in any way, shape, or form. She spent a lot of time with Lori and Alex leading up to Charles's death, and there was never any discussion like that about it. But, of course, they're not going to tell her they're planning on killing somebody. They wouldn't tell somebody that wasn't a part of it. You want to keep as little people as possible to know, especially if that person wouldn't go along with it. If Summer would be against it, of course they're not going to tell her that they're planning on doing that. That would just be silly. I mean, why would they? So that's not convincing to me. Just because they weren't talking about it in front of her, that doesn't mean anything. Then Summer says how Charles texted 30 to 40 times, ranging from I swear I'll be nice, please call me, to your end is coming soon. Summer said she saw a lot of threatening texts from him. She said if Alex wouldn't have been there that morning, that Lori and Tylee would have been on the news for a different reason. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. I mean, I believe that maybe Charles was texting her a bunch because obviously he loved her. He didn't want things to end, but he just didn't like how her beliefs and how she was being crazy and talking crazy. He wanted her to get help. He probably wanted the old Lori back. So I don't have any doubt that he was texting and trying to get her back and wanting her to be with him, or I don't deny that, but I don't know if I believe that he's threatening her. You think Lori would have? Well, maybe that she is using that as part of her trial. If she has it, when her trial comes, she probably will use some of those texts if it's even true. That would be in her defense of, well, if they try to charge her in Charles's, that would be kind of, I guess, could be her defense and self-defense. Well, look, he was threatening me, to kind of show that maybe he really was threatening them that morning, but I just still don't believe it. I don't know why. I just don't believe that he was. But who knows? I guess we'll never know, or at least we don't know yet for sure. Summer said she asked Alex to go to the house the day before Charles was coming, if he would please go and stay with Lori. And Alex said, oh, Lori's going to be fine. She can call me if she needs me. And Summer said, please, I have a very sick feeling in my stomach. Please just go there and stay. So Alex did end up going there. Or maybe, what if Lori made it seem like Charles was crazy to Summer? It made it seem like he was sending threatening texts and that he was crazier than he really was, because that's just what Lori told Summer. I could see that if Lori just said, oh, he's sending me threatening texts, or oh, he's doing this or that, and Lori lying to Summer, and Summer just believing Lori, and then Summer really thinking that Charles was this scary, violent person, but it might be what Lori wanted Summer to think. I mean, maybe Lori just made up some stuff. Who knows? Okay, so Summer said that she was in shock when she found out Charles was shot, and also said they were in shock too, which I don't believe they were. I don't believe that Alex and Lori were in shock. Alex seemed okay, like right after it happened. He didn't seem like he was like all in shock. And Lori's over there laughing and smiling and joking, and it just didn't seem like she was in shock. And even the police said when he took her to the police station to ask some questions and he took her home, she's just acting odd, just not the way you'd expect someone to act when something like that just happened. And then she lies to Colby and tells Colby that Charles had a heart attack. Like, why did she do that? So I just don't feel like they were in shock. I really don't. And then Summer said that she was in shock but very grateful. Grateful just doesn't seem like the appropriate word to use to describe how you're feeling when someone dies. When you hear somebody just die, that you're grateful. It just seems kind of odd. Summer also says that Charles was here with an agenda and that he was here causing the trouble. And that Lori was not trying to go after him. He was here bugging her. So maybe that's what Summer thought. Maybe Lori made it seem like that to Summer. So Summer is only going to know what Lori's saying about him. I mean, that's how she's going to perceive Charles, by what Lori is putting into her head. So yeah, maybe Summer really did believe this. Maybe she does believe this because maybe Lori is telling her this stuff and Lori's lying, or maybe Summer is just saying that to make Lori look better. But I think chances are it makes more sense that maybe Lori is the one kind of lying to Summer, and Summer actually really believes this stuff because what Lori's telling her. Who knows? It could be either or. It could be just Summer just trying to make her sister look better, or it could be she really believes that. So then when the interviewer says how Alex is described as the family hitman, and Janice says she can't help but laugh, and says Alex is the most laid-back person. He's been funny his whole life. He was very protective of Colby and Tylee. He's always owned up to anything he's done wrong. He surely isn't perfect, but he doesn't have the intensity to be a hitman. He doesn't have the desire. He doesn't think that death solves anything. Okay, so I have a few things to say about that. So first of all, who says that hitman can't be funny or laid back? Why can't a hitman be funny or laid back? What does that have to do? What does one have to do with the other? I mean, just because he's funny and laid back doesn't mean that he can't be a hitman, or he can't. That means that he couldn't have done this because he's funny and laid back. I mean, and as far as a desire to kill someone isn't something you're going to share with your mom. It's not like it's something you're going to talk about over dinner. It's not something you're going to share with a lot of people. You're going to keep that very private with only people that probably you feel like that wouldn't judge you if you told them, or that would understand or wouldn't be against it, or it would be something that you would be very particular on who you would share that with. And definitely not your mom for the most part. I mean, unless if your mom, it depends, there's probably exception, unless if your mom is a killer or something, but for the most part, your mom would be the last person you would share that desire with. But all that said, I don't think he has a desire to kill. That's not what I'm saying. I think he just has this passion for protecting Lori and kind of doing whatever she says. And I'm sure if he was the hitman, that Lori gave him the reasons why he should do it, like that would justify his actions, why she would just make it seem like it was for the better, it was for the good. Like he was doing it for a good purpose, not this desire to kill. Like I don't view him like as like these serial killers where they have that desire and that urge. That's not how I think Alex is at all. I think it's more of, like I said, he was willing to do anything for Lori, and Lori is making it seem like the reasons he should do it outweigh any of the negative things. Like he's doing it for the greater good. Like it's a good thing. Whether it's because these other people are these zombies and they're evil or whatever the reasons are, I don't think he's got that desire like a serial killer or anything like that. Okay, back to the interview. So the interviewer asked Summer when she saw Tylee last. And Summer said August, before they moved. That was the last time she saw her. But she said she texted her a couple times after that. But the very last text with Tylee was September 24th, Tylee's birthday. Because she texted her to wish her a happy birthday. And she said Tylee responded, "Thank you, love you, happy birthday to you too." why is the FBI saying she was last seen September 8th at Yellowstone? They're thinking that September 8th was the last time anybody's seen her, talked to her. But that makes you wonder, because didn't they talk to the family? Didn't they talk to Summer and Janice and ask them these questions? Like, when was the last time you talked to her? And so if they believed what these people were saying, wouldn't that be the facts? Wouldn't that be what they're writing down? Okay, so Tylee talked to Summer September 24th, so September 24th was the last she was seen. But instead, they say September 8th, so either they have a reason to believe that wasn't Tylee responding back to Summer on those texts. And this is the FBI. I mean, of course, they're not always right. They get things wrong once in a while, but I'm just saying, wonder what the reasons they have to believe that. Because there's no way they didn't interview Summer and Janice and interview them. Like, for instance, when Janice said she talked to JJ October 1st, but why in the records did they say what, September 24th or 23rd was the last time JJ was seen? But Janice is claiming to actually talk to him, like on the phone, not a text, but to hear his voice. And you know the FBI had to interview them. That's Lori's mom and Lori's sister. So why aren't they believing Lori's mom, Janice, that she talked to Tylee on October 1st? And why isn't that what they're saying? Last seen and heard from is October 1st. But that's not what's been in the reports and stuff. So there's reason to believe that they're not believing Lori's mom. That's what it's looking like, and they're not believing Lori's sister. Now, with the text, maybe there's a reason, because the way the texts are written in words, and they could kind of maybe see that that's just not how she texts. But to go by Janice's word of mouth saying she heard JJ's voice, she talked to him, that would be saying that they don't believe her. I mean, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. So the interviewer does ask Summer if she believes that was Tylee texting her back on her birthday, September 24th. And Summer said she has no way to know. I mean, but she would like to believe it was her. She said it could be either way. But as far as she knows, it was her, because she has no other reason to believe otherwise. So Janice said she believes that they are still alive because they know Lori. Lori was dedicated to JJ. So Summer said Lori was threatened and followed. I'd like to know some more details on that. But the one example they did give, because he asked, well, who was she threatened by? And they made it seem like there's multiple people, but one person they did say was Kay, Charles's sister, Kay Woodcock. They said Kay Woodcock was threatening her, and also Kay and Charles's brothers were threatening her. So you have basically Charles's siblings were all threatening Lori, supposedly. So Summer said that Kay should have handled it in a better way, and that she should have filed in court for JJ. So it sounds like this is all revolving around JJ and the custody of JJ. But I thought she did file in court for JJ. Didn't she get the custody? I mean, that's what, I'll have to look for the court documents, but I'm pretty sure she did file in court. And I think it more revolves around Lori being jealous because Charles left Kay his life insurance. He made Kay the beneficiary. So I think it all stems from that, the anger that Lori is feeling towards Kay because she didn't get a single dollar. I think this is what this is all about. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure, I know I read those documents of like a month or so ago where Kay did file for the custody of JJ, but Lori wouldn't hand him over. This was before Lori was even in jail, I remember. But she wouldn't give him, she wouldn't hand him over. Like I said, I'm going to have to dig those up and see if I could find them and see. And comment below too. Don't you remember reading the court documents where she filed for JJ, the custody? Okay, so Summer says that Kay did this deliberately. Did what deliberately? I don't get it. What is she claiming that she did deliberately? Trying to get custody of JJ? I mean, why is that such a bad thing? What do you mean deliberately? Obviously, Charles wanted Kay to have custody of JJ. He left her, the beneficiary, to take care of JJ because we heard multiple times, well, Charles said that basically Lori had said she didn't want JJ, that Charles could have him, like she didn't care about JJ. So we're hearing two different things. I mean, they're saying, Janice and Summer are saying, oh, she loved JJ. Oh, JJ was so important. She would do anything for him. And then Charles is saying, and you could read it in some of the court documents, where she didn't want JJ. She just said you could have him. She could care less about JJ, that she just didn't care about him. So maybe the truth is somewhere in between there. But I'm just confused. What else did she do to Lori? Besides the whole custody thing, what else is she threatening Lori about? I think it's the other way around. I bet you Lori's threatening her because of that money. That's what I would think. And I could see Lori being so mad that Kay got that life insurance money that she made up a bunch of lies to Summer and maybe to her mom and said that she was threatening her and just made up all this crap to make Kay look like she's this horrible person and she's threatening her and she's doing all this stuff when it's all a bunch of crap. So the first time Summer spoke with Lori, Summer told her she was worried about her and the kids, and Lori said, "You know me, and you know I've always taken care of my kids." Summer says, "I do know that, and it's removed any doubt in my mind that she has done anything wrong." But I thought she said she didn't have any doubts. She said there's no doubt. I mean, no doubt that Lori did anything. If there was doubts that needed removed, then that means she did have doubts, right? So what doubts was she having? And when were they removed? Because she's saying, Summer said, "I do know that, and it removed any doubt in my mind." I just feel like they're not being forced. They're not being totally honest. I bet you they do have some doubt if the kids are okay. How can't they? They haven't seen him in months. Lori hasn't told him anything. I think it's only natural that they do have some doubts. So Summer said her children are everything. She's always put them first. Every fight she had ever had with Charles was about how he treated Tylee. And if he wasn't kind to Tylee, she would leave the house and say, "If you can't get along with Tylee, we're not staying here." I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll find out all this is true as far as her being a really good mom and her loving her kids and doing anything for him. But that still doesn't change the fact that maybe she changed after she met Chad, because there's a lot of people that noticed the change in her. So maybe she really was a good mom before that and would do anything for her kids. And then she gets brainwashed by Chad, and Chad convinces her that her kids need to go, whether it's maybe in some compound like Randy said, or go like they get rid of them, whatever he's filling her head with. I feel like whatever he says, she's going to go along with. So maybe she was a great parent, but then Chad just filled her head with all kinds of crap. Who knows? So when the interviewer asked Janice if she understands why she was refusing to show the kids are okay, and Janice says, "It seems simple. At least it does to me. That's why when I was talking to her friend, I gave her my advice, but I don't know what she knows. All I know is the woman that she is." And Janice says that she didn't see any great change in Lori. She said the only change that she did see that happened was when Lori found out that Charles was cheating on her. That ruined their marriage. Before she accused Charles of cheating, he never said one bad word about Lori. Never, ever. Lori's mom saying never, ever. But wait, let's back up here. I thought Summer was saying how Charles was always giving her hard times and he was the one who started fights and Lori was afraid of him. But if he never said one bad word about Lori, that kind of seems hard to do. Seems hard to get in all these fights and not say one bad word about the person. And Lori's mom was saying, like, the way she said it, never, ever. Like, Charles would never talk bad about Lori. Ever. They just made it seem like there was a history of Charles's basically abuse. But if Janice is saying, "Oh, he never said a bad word about Lori," I'm not saying that I believe that Charles never did say a bad word. I'm just saying that the fact that Janice is saying that, it just makes her credibility a little bit harder when you hear her say things that you know either. It just seems a little hard to imagine him always starting these fights but yet never saying a bad word about her. And then Janice continues to say that Charles started with okay, so the reason she brought up this, "Oh, he never said one bad word about her," is because then she's going on to say, well, when Charles started with this, she thinks she's a god, and he tried to get her excommunicated from the church. She's saying that came out of nowhere, like he never said one bad word, and then all of a sudden he's saying that. Well, then that it should mean more, that he never said one bad word about her, but so when he does, then it must be real. I mean, that should mean more than somebody that's always saying bad stuff about somebody. Then you're like, do I believe this person? But the fact that he never has said one bad word about, it just seems way too convenient that all of this starts right around the time she starts to talk to Chad, right? I'm sorry, I believe Charles in this. I believe that she did start talking all this crazy stuff. Because, yeah, plus now these crazy emails that we're seeing Chad sent Lori, when we know that when Charles made these claims was around the same time that she started getting heavily into Chad and his beliefs, and she started really talking to Chad. So it makes sense that, yeah, she would start talking these crazy beliefs. So I don't think Charles is lying about that. So, Charles has claimed that Lori is speaking all these crazy beliefs, that she's a translated being, that she was married to Moroni in her past life, Charles being taken over by Nick Schneider. It's the same kind of talk that you find in these emails that Chad's sending Lori. So I totally believe Charles. I mean, it's exactly the same kind of stuff, the same time that she's talking to Chad. Of course she was saying that stuff. It's almost like too obvious that, yeah, I mean, how can't you believe Charles on at least that? I mean, it makes sense. She's talking to Chad. Chad's filling with these crazy things. She's telling Charles that. Yeah, I mean, I totally believe that she was talking this crazy stuff with Charles. I really do. I don't think it's even up for too much of an argument, because we're starting to get more and more proof on Chad's beliefs here in his emails to Lori. It's hard to argue the other way, I think. And I do believe that Charles loved her, and he wanted her to get help. I do believe that he really loved her, and he just wanted her, he still wanted to be with her. He just wanted her to stop talking crazy like this. So the fact that they're trying to act like, the fact that Janice and Summer are trying to act like that this is a crazy lie of Charles, that he's saying all this stuff, is making me doubt everything that they're saying now, because we know that that's not crazy. We know that these were some of these beliefs that Chad was telling Lori. We're getting these emails now to back it up. So the fact that Summer and Janice are trying to say that Charles is lying, and it's almost hard to even say that. I mean, there's almost, to me, there's no question that's true, that Lori was saying that Charles isn't lying. So the fact that Janice and Summer are saying that makes me doubt everything that they're saying, because it's like they're lying about that, I think, because I just don't think you could even argue that she said some of those things, that she was talking crazy at that time with these beliefs. Even her friends were saying it on Dateline, her friend from Hawaii, and just other people that were close to her even was saying how she was kind of talking crazy and she's changed and stuff. So I don't think there's any arguing that. So the fact that they're trying to argue that and say that Charles is lying is just making me doubt everything that they're saying now. There's too much documented stuff now that shows that Chad did have these crazy beliefs and was putting them into Lori's head. So Janice said the whole time Charles was making those claims that he was texting Lori trying to get her back. I'm sure he was, but that doesn't mean these claims were lies. I'm sure he was trying to get her back. I believe that, because I believe he did love her and he wanted to be with her. He just wanted her to get some help and just stop with all this craziness. So yeah, I do believe he probably did text her 30 to 40 times. He did try to get her back, but that doesn't mean that the claims he was saying were lies, just because he was trying to still be with her. He loved her. So sometimes when you love somebody, even if you don't agree, or you just think they're crazy and you want them to get help, it doesn't mean that you don't love them and want to be with them still. So, and then the interviewer asked them if they think that Lori's in a cult, and they said no, they don't think that it's a cult. And the interviewer says that there's some people that live by Chad, Daybell, that they say that they follow him. And Summer said if people choose to follow him, then that's fine, but she would never follow him. And Janice said it's impossible for Chad to brainwash Lori. Summer said they have never been invited to any of Lori's weddings. And Janice said, we've been invited, but we just haven't went to any. And Summer says, well, I've never been invited, but that's fine. So if this is someone they are so close to and know so well, then why haven't they been invited to any of the weddings? I don't understand. And even let's say they really were invited, like Janice said, and they just didn't go, then why didn't they go to the weddings then if they were so close? And the wedding, I mean, to any of the weddings, it doesn't even, I don't understand that. And then Janice said that they had a family that did everything together. Oh, everything but go to their own daughter's wedding. I mean, that's something that usually the family goes to. We know another instance, the Watts case, where Cindy didn't go to her son's wedding, but it's just, I don't know. But then, so a couple other things that I found odd that they said. So they said they didn't even know that Alex had gotten married or moved back to Arizona. They said they never met Chad. They didn't know Lori even got married until they saw it on the news. So if they know Lori so well and they trust her and they know that she would never do anything to her kids, and they know, like Janice said, that she didn't notice a big change in her, so they know her well enough in this period of time that they're saying that, oh no, she didn't change from Chad, but they didn't even know Chad or didn't even know she got married to Chad or even met Chad basically. So if they know for sure that she didn't change and Chad's not filling her head with all these crazy beliefs, then shouldn't they know Chad and have known that Lori got married? Obviously they don't know what's going on in her life right now, so how do they know that maybe he didn't brainwash her and she didn't change? Obviously they just aren't, they're just not knowing what is going on with her in the last, well, seems like since she met Chad, it doesn't seem like they've maybe had much communication, or Lori hasn't been that open with her to even tell her about Chad and tell him about Chad and her marrying him and then Alex marrying Zulema. They don't know any of this stuff. So obviously something's going on in their lives where in the last few months or last year or 5 or 6 months, or that just basically that last year of everything that happened that last year, how is when everything went down, that obviously Janice and Summer and her family, they didn't really know what was going on with Alex and Lori. They're getting married and moving and they're not even aware of this. So don't tell me you know, oh, they haven't changed, oh, she hasn't changed. How would you even know? Obviously you're not communicating, and if you are, then you're not very well because you're not knowing any of this stuff. So that just doesn't make me very confident in you knowing for sure that Lori hasn't changed and she wasn't brainwashed or just wasn't, I don't want to say brainwashed because I think she's just as much to blame. I mean, they both have a big part in it. So, I mean, it just doesn't make me feel that confident in you knowing if she did change and Chad did have this big effect on her, because obviously she's keeping things from them, so they wouldn't know some of these things maybe. I mean, if she doesn't share even the big, simple things in her life, like getting married, I wouldn't expect her to share, like, if she's changing her beliefs and believing all this crazy stuff, she probably wouldn't share that with them either. So how would they know? So they also said they don't know why JJ and Tylee were separated from Lori. And Janice, Lori's mom, said it could be a wonderful reason. Maybe she's protecting them from something terrible. But she said she has faith in her as a mother, that she's doing the best she knows how for her children. So, I don't know. I wonder what she's protecting her from something terrible. I wish... It can't just be because Kay wants custody and she's just protecting her from Kay, because she's probably so jealous that Kay got that life insurance that she's trying to pay her back and have some kind of revenge on her. That's what it sounds like to me. The interview asked them if there was any part where they say, maybe she cracked and this is not going to end up well. And Summer says, if something has happened to those children, it is not by their doing and not by her permission to do anything. And Janice says, yeah, we know her well enough to know that. Janice says she couldn't crack enough to do harm to her children. I've never seen anyone put their whole life and soul into a child like she did with each one of those children. So that's kind of a summary of that first part of the interview. I mean, it does make you wonder if we got it all wrong and Lori really was a good person and a good mom. I'm not denying that maybe she was, but I just think that something changed with Chad. I really do. I think something changed majorly, and he just got inside her head and just filling her head with all these crazy things. I don't know. At first I used to think it was her. Like at the very beginning I used to think, oh, it was her and she's the one calling all the shots. It's all her. But the more I'm learning, I do think that he is the one that, like, if it wasn't for him, I feel like that we wouldn't even be sitting here looking for the kids if she never met him. But then I don't know, because then I keep going back to her being so mad at Kay, Charles' sister, for getting that life insurance. A lot of it being about this custody over JJ and maybe almost like this revenge, like, you're not getting him. He left you all the money, didn't leave me anything. Well, I'm not going to give you JJ. Almost something like that. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it would have happened if she didn't meet Chad, because... But then would they have ended up killing Charles if it wasn't for Chad? I feel like that had a big reason why they killed Charles, because Chad filled Lori's head with this whole Charles, it's not really Charles, he was taken over by Nick Schneider and he's a zombie and it's evil demon guy. So maybe Charles would still be here if it wasn't for Chad. Therefore, the whole JJ situation wouldn't even be an issue. I don't know. Who knows? But all I know is, I guess this is what I'm saying. Whether or not maybe Lori was a good mom, maybe these things that they saw in Lori, on that surface at least, it seemed like she did care. Whether she really does or not, who knows? I have no idea. It's only she knows, But I do strongly believe that Chad had a huge impact on her, and not for the good. I feel like he's a bad influence on her. I do believe that. I'm not saying that she's perfect and I don't know who she was in her past, but I do feel like Chad is a bad influence on her. I'll just leave it at that. I really do. And I used to, like I said at the beginning, I thought it was the other way around, but I think he's more of a bad influence on her than she is on him. So I think they've influenced both of each other, are bad influence on each other. I feel like they're both bad for each other, but I feel like he is the one that is bringing this more darker evil stuff into her life. Like, I feel like these beliefs, these crazy beliefs, like he's just almost brainwashing her to believe these things. And that's why I'm saying I feel like he's a bad influence on her. But morally, maybe they're just both bad, like morally, on a general level, morally, maybe they both are kind of bad people. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, as far as this crazy belief stuff, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Who's the bad influence on who? Like I said, it started the opposite, where I thought Lori was the bad influence on Chad, and now, months later, I think Chad's the bad influence on Lori. But not that they're both aren't bad to begin with. I don't know. I have a feeling, though, little by little, we're going to be finding out a lot of stuff, and it's probably maybe not what we do expect. Hopefully, like some of the family members have said, that watch, when you find out it's not what you expect. Hopefully it is for the kids' sake. Hopefully it's just that the kids are okay and it's not what we expect and the kids are safe. That would be pretty freaking awesome. Hopefully it is that. So, alright guys, I'm going to end this here. Hopefully you guys are all having a good day. Love you guys. Bye.